single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Welcome to Tomorrow Again. Please like, share, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed. And to those of you who are new to this channel, I just wanted to take a moment to welcome you and to thank everyone for supporting this channel. It's story time. About 15 years ago, a friend of mine had just moved to a relatively large-sized city, and she was in the process of her kids getting to know neighbor kids and sort of familiarizing herself with the area, and she really loved it. She was starting to get settled in, and as I mentioned, she had gotten a few friends, gotten acquainted with a few people, and one woman in particular lived across the street from her, and she had 3 girls, just like my friend had 3 girls. And so they got to know one another, and they would oftentimes visit one another. And one night in particular, my friend had just heard on the news that there was a serial killer loose. And I don't remember how many women had been killed, but there had been quite a few women that were killed, and the police, the authorities, felt like there was some kind of serial killer on a rampage. So she was being very careful with her daughters. Wherever they went, she made sure that she went with them, or they were within eyesight. So one evening she went with her daughters to her neighbor's house. They lived right across the street. The kids wanted to play with one another, so she decided to go over there and visit the mother. And they spent a couple hours visiting, and as they all came into the living room, they noticed on the television it said breaking news. So they stopped to watch the news. As a matter of fact, the entire family did. The woman that lived across the street's brother had been in town from another state, and so he looked at the kids and he said, make sure you guys stick together, be safe, because this is not a joke. This is something that can happen. People actually will kill you for no reason. So he warned them to be careful, and he understood that they were from a smaller town, and they didn't have things like that happening in smaller towns. At least that's what he felt. So he warned them, please take this serious, you guys, and they agreed. We're not going to take any chances. So they got ready to leave, and my friend this time decided just to run across the street and unlock the door, and then the girls were sort of still lagging behind, sorry. And as they went to leave to go home, this woman's brother reminded them again, please be careful, you guys. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll stand in the doorway and I will watch you to make sure that you get home safe. And so he stood in the doorway, and they waved goodbye to him, waved goodbye to the kids that they had been playing with. And that was pretty much it until the next day, when my friend was sitting with her kids, and the news came on again, and they reminded everyone that they had caught the serial killer. And my friend was relieved. Finally, she could breathe easily and just go along with her life without worrying about a serial killer being on the loose. Well, they showed the man, being taken to jail, and he had something over his face. I think it was this jacket that he was covering his face with, and just for a moment he let the jacket down and you could get a glimpse of his face, and my friend was frozen when she realized the serial killer was the man that lived across the street with her from out of town, the man who had warned them, be careful of the serial killer. He was a serial killer. So I just wanted to share that little bit of story time with you guys, and to kind of put a warning out there. You know, you never know who might be out to do you harm. And in this strange way, this serial killer was trying to warn the kids of a serial killer and standing in the doorway to make sure that they got home safely. That really, I don't know how to process that. But in Chicago, Illinois, and there is a serial killer. At least that's what the authorities are beginning to think, that there is someone out there who has killed over 50 women that lived in Chicago, on the south side and the west side of Chicago. People, please be aware of your surroundings. Don't take any chances. No one is immune to being the victim of someone who wants to do people harm. I have some psychic feelings about that. I felt this about 7-8 months ago, that there is something going on in Chicago regarding a serial killer. And it's not just Chicago. I sense there could be someone sort of traveling around victimizing people. Be aware. This person is someone that feels displaced, but on one hand, they fit in. They can fit in with lots of people. And on another hand, they are very awkward socially. And that's not much information to give you guys, but just don't trust people that you don't know. Always stand on your own 2 feet. Make sure that children are protected. Don't take chances, because sometimes the authorities may not properly warn you of what's going on because they don't want to alarm people. So you always have to make sure that you're looking out for yourself and looking out for your loved ones and looking out for other people. So I just wanted to bring this video to you guys to make you aware that safety has to be a concern to everyone, and not to put a negative light on Chicago. I don't have a problem with Chicago. I was born in Chicago. I have family that lives in Chicago. It's a nice a city as any. It is just a big city with lots of people, and lots of things happen. This is Tomorrow again. You guys, I'm wishing you the best of the best. Take care of yourself. Trust your instincts. You don't have to be a practicing psychic to know when something doesn't feel right. If something's not setting right with you, do not ignore that. Please pay attention to your own intuition. This is Tomorrow again, wishing you the best of the best.